Let me tell you guys something. I've had one hell of a week. And if you're watching this video, there's a chance that you're in the same boat. Confusion, anxiety, depression, overall hopelessness. This has been one of the worst weeks of my life, just in terms of my overall mental health. I felt like absolute garbage, but I am in a better place now, and since I am finally in this better place, I figured that now would be the best time to make a video like this. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling hopeless, if you feel like giving up, it doesn't matter if we're talking, you know, just in the casual sense of giving up, like I'm giving up, I'm quitting my job, this, that, or the other, or if we're talking about in a more serious sense about giving up, please watch this video through. And also, if you're actually having any dangerous thoughts or ideations, it goes without saying, please contact a professional immediately. Now, before we get into this, I want you to ground yourself. Look around, and I'm not gonna lie, even though I went through years of therapy, and no matter how many times I was told this, I still can't remember each step of this for the life of me, but we're just gonna make it up as we go. Look around for 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, and then I think it's like 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste. Just using all your senses. And you really have to name those things. So right now I'm looking, I can see my Millennium Falcon desk lamp that I keep right here. I see my Toad light that I also see right here. I see a bottle of purified Wellesley Farms water from BJ's. Love the name of that store. I see my Call of Duty World War II hat right here that I got back in 2017. It was like a special edition hat from GameStop. And then I also see my crappy third-party Xbox controller. And the things I can touch, well, I'm touching the Xbox controller, touching my microphone, so on and so forth. Next, I would also like you to take a few deep breaths with me, and you're free to do this throughout the entire video. So basically, we're going to breathe in for about 4 seconds. Hold. And exhale for like 4 to 6 seconds. Now, off of that first deep breath, you should be feeling a bit better, but even if not, it's okay if you need to do that for the entire video. Now, let's go ahead and get into the real discussion here. I want you to think back to the worst time of your life. I know this is like the worst thing for me to say because we're trying to ground you, but I'm going somewhere with this. Think about the worst time in your life, or the worst period of time in your life, whether it was a move, whether it was a situation, a relationship you were in that you never thought you'd get out of. Think about the worst time in your life and think about where you're at right now. You're still alive. You're still watching this video. You still got clothes on your back, you got food in your stomach, you got a roof over your head, and damn it, you are still alive. Even if you thought you would never get through that terrible time in your life, even if you thought you were at the end of your rope, there's no way you're going to get through this, I'm either going to end up losing everything, dying, or something else insane is going to happen. It never ended up happening. You're still here. You're still watching this video. You're still alive. And damn it if that isn't the most beautiful thing in the world. You are unique. There is only one of you. There is only one of you that exists in this world. If there isn't a you to be around in this world, then who the hell else is going to be you? This world is only beautiful because there is one of you. The thing that makes humanity and this world as a whole so beautiful is the fact that each and every single one of us are so unique and so different. Everybody is so different, like me. Even though, yes, I'm in my 20s and I'm a dude, it doesn't matter. I still lay in bed at night and play fucking Barbie Dreamhouse Party on my 3DS before going to sleep to dream about, well, you know what, actually I'll tell you guys about one of my craziest dreams ever. This dream happened like, I don't know, like 10 years ago at this point, but basically it was a dream that Olaf and Kristoff from Frozen were driving at me because we were on an ice rink and they were in a red Lamborghini and they tried to hit me, but they missed me last second, so they swerved and I was like sliding across the ice rink and I was getting into like Spider-Man pose mode, getting ready to go fight him, but then I woke up because I guess I ended up getting like hit by a giant snowball or something like that. And yes, I still eat dino nuggets and microwave frozen french fries and ice cream every night for dinner. And yes, I still build Legos. And yes, I still sit there watching Dragon Ball every night before bed. And yes, I still go back and play VeggieTale, fucking Larry Boy and the Bad Apple on my PlayStation 2 on a yearly basis. I'm dead serious. This is one of my favorite games of all time. The road to getting better starts with acknowledging that you are not in a good place. The only way to become happy is to acknowledge that you are not currently happy. There's no other way to get out of it. Let me just kind of go ahead and break things down for you guys. So I've had one hell of a week, as I mentioned before. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but let's just say that I've been really in my head. It's been one of the worst weeks of my life, and no, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. 2 days ago, I almost killed myself. That's it. It was about 12 in the afternoon, and I was crying on and off all day. It was the worst I felt in such a long time, and I had no idea what the hell was wrong with me. It was just, my head was just, I don't even know, man. I was just going through a clusterfuck of emotions. I was standing in my kitchen, and, you know, it was just me. I was just standing there, and I was alone, and I just started crying so hysterically that I couldn't catch my breath. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, dude. My heart was pounding. I couldn't catch my breath. I was literally, like, choking on my own tears. It was insane. I was looking outside, and I was just looking around, and then I came back, and I was looking in my room, and I really had that moment where I was looking around like, you know, this might just be the last time that I look around in here, and I mean, it was... I can't... You don't really understand what that feels like until you've been there. That moment of like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to see everything. Because when you take that moment to really look around and you're like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to look at everything, you immediately start crying when you're at that point of where it's like, okay, if I take another step towards this is the point of no return. And I was right there on that line where I really wasn't sure what was about to happen next. But by the glory of God, I was able to ground myself just enough to return to what I love. So basically what happened is I stood in my kitchen, had that whole meltdown. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, I was in my room first, had that initial meltdown, went out in my kitchen, it only got worse. I went back to the door frame of my door and I stood there for a while, not really sure if I even wanted to go back into my room just because I was just, having all those emotions. And then when I did finally step back inside, I stood in here, cried for a while longer. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to play a video game. Video games have always been my grounding factor. Video games have saved my life countless times. The amount of times that I felt like I was on the brink of death and then I went and replayed Resident Evil 4 and it literally saved my life. Or Cyberpunk 2077, man. I almost want to cry just thinking about that game because that was almost 3 years ago now and I was at a really dark time in my life then. And my gosh, that game did amazing things for me. That was the best week of my life. Hands down in my entire life. That week that I spent binging Cyberpunk from sunrise to sundown, 100%ing the game, playing through all the side quests, playing through the game, getting all the endings, that was the best week of my life. The time I spent in Night City with all the characters there, escaping from this world, falling in love with all the characters, wishing I could be with Judy, but I couldn't be because I was a male V, so I ended up getting with Panam in the end when I was going for that one ending. The time I spent with Johnny, all the chaos I created just going through the story. Even though Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game of all time, and I have a lot of other games that I love, just talking about a period in time, that week in Night City was the best week of my life, and it saved my life. And then we look at other games like The Last of Us, where I'd finally played through that game at a point in my life where I felt like I was at the end of my rope, where I really could have never loved again, where I just didn't feel safe enough to ever let anybody else in, and then there it was. It taught me that not only is it okay to feel things for people and to let people back in after you've been through a lot of things or after you've been at that point where you feel like you're not ever going to be able to let somebody else back in to that extent, but it also just showed that it's actually quite a beautiful thing to do that. And there's like a myriad of other video games, right? Like when I was also in the middle of my hysteria the other day, because it carried on throughout the entire day. It wasn't just like, oh, I had one quick breakdown, then I was fine. No, this was an entire day that bled into yesterday even, actually, of just really not feeling myself. And by the time dinner rolled around, I remember I was so down. I was sitting there trying to eat, and I could just barely get the food down because I was just so miserable and just felt so bad about myself. And of all the games, of all the soundtracks, if you know me, you know I love Call of Duty. I mean, I literally have like the Modern Warfare 2 poster. I have the Modern Warfare poster right there. I used to have like a Black Ops 2 poster. I have a Cold War poster right here. Like I love Call of Duty. Every time I buy a console, the first thing I do is buy every COD for the console. Xbox One, as soon as I got it, I went back, bought all the CODs. PS3, when I repurchased my PS3 a few years ago, same thing. Like I love Call of Duty. Buy it every year. But the most recent Call of Duty obviously is Black Ops 6, and Call of Duty is one of those games where it just always, it's my safe zone. It makes me feel safe, it makes me feel happy, and it reminds me that everything's gonna be okay. Call of Duty grounds me in a way that nothing and no one else can. Like, it's just that is my game. That is my safe space, along with like a myriad of other games, but especially Call of Duty, man. So when I was sitting there that night, I was like, dude, I feel so miserable. I had my music going, I was listening to some of my sad dad rock, like Stain, Seether, etc. So I went to my video game overseas playlist, and I started scrolling. I was like, I need something to pick me up, because you get to that point in your sadness where, like, sometimes when you're sad, you embrace the sadness and kind of lean into the melancholy of it all, and you're just like, okay, I feel like shit, and this is just, it is what it is. But no, I was at that point where I was like, dude, I feel so miserable that I literally just don't even have the capacity to keep my eyes open and just be awake, be alive right now. Like, I need something, otherwise I'm just gonna slip back into that same negative headspace. So I scrolled through, found Raining the Fire, and as soon as I turned it on, I went the entire day without actually genuinely smiling. Like, the entire day I was just crying on and off, absolutely fucking miserable. And I turned it on, and that was it. I smiled genuinely for the first time that night. As soon as I heard that, oh, and then at the end, that violin part when it all comes in, dude. I was not just smiling by the end of that. I was ecstatically giggling and laughing just because of how great I felt. Also, I think I kind of cut myself off from the point I was trying to make earlier, but earlier, earlier in the day when I was saying like, oh, I came back to my room, wasn't sure if I wanted to come back in because I was just feeling so down or whatever, I ended up coming back inside of my room and I turned on Far Cry Primal because that's just always been one of my favorite games. It's very grounding, very immersive. So, when I was feeling really sad earlier in the day, I turned that game on and it just helped me feel a lot better just escaping into that world for a while. But then obviously, again, led up to dinner where all that ended up happening, but I finally smiled genuinely for the first time that day, and it was such an amazing feeling. Now, you may be wondering why I'm telling you all this, because from the rip, it might seem like, okay, I thought this video was supposed to help tell me why not to give up. Why are you just telling your story? But I'm telling you my story, so then you can understand that I understand where you're at. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm trying to share how I grounded myself and how I brought myself back, because here's the thing. I don't really have anybody. I don't really have any outlets like therapists or anything like that. I mean, sure, if I wanted to reach out and get that stuff, I definitely could, but that stuff has just never worked for me. I'm the type of person where no matter who's around, other people can't help me. Like, there's too much going on in here for somebody else to actually help me. No matter how much I talk about things, no matter what solution somebody gives me, it's all bullshit. That's just how it is. Nobody else can help me besides me. No medications can help me. Medications just make me feel like a zombie. Everybody else just, there's nothing anybody else can do. The only way I can fix me is me. And to a certain extent, I feel like that's the same for anybody else, because you can't help yourself until you get out of your own way. Nobody else can, you're not like a fucking Tonka truck, dump truck. You know what I mean? Like, they can't just come in here with like screwdrivers and hammers and fix you. You need to admit to yourself, like, hey, there's something that needs fixed here. I'm not feeling good. But you have to then be ready to feel good again. And it's not even just about being ready to feel good again, but it's about being open to that and like actually receiving it and taking the steps towards actually feeling better. Here's the thing, not to get too cliche here, but I'm sure you guys have heard of like the yin and yang, right? Like I'm pretty sure it's like Chinese, you know what I mean? Like that symbol everybody does where it's like black and white, it's like a circle or whatever. I want you to think about this anytime that you're in a dark place, because it's very easy, especially if you're like me and you have like OCD and whatnot, to just really obsess on all the negative things and over generalize, or over catastrophize. Basically just look at everything and be like, okay, one bad thing is happening, which means that everything is bad. That's just, it is what it is. This one thing sucks, so now everything sucks. And just kind of, blank it down and shut down. But I need you to think of that Chinese symbol. What, and I want you to ask yourself this, what is darkness without light? And what is light without darkness? I know that probably sounds like a stupid question, but really think about it. The only reason that there's a definition for darkness is because there's a definition for light. And the only reason that there's a definition for light is because there's a definition for darkness. Such as in the same way there's a definition for wet, that's what she said, as there is for a definition of dry. What I'm trying to say is that no matter what happens in your life, just accepting the fact that there will always be dark spots or low spots is just part of not only maturing and growing up, but it's also just part of being a human and just realizing, hey, things aren't going to be all peachy, sunrise and rainbows and ice cream cones all the time. Sometimes it's just going to be a pile of scarlet rot from Elden Ring, you know what I mean? But just like you would in Elden Ring, it's your job to dodge roll through the scarlet rot, get out of there, get better, heal yourself, and get stronger in the end by going on to crush those insane bosses like Millennia. If you're a gamer like me, I want you to think about it like this. Every day that you get through is getting you closer to your next trophy or getting you closer to the next milestone in the game. Every decade you go through is like an act of your life. Each year is like a chapter, and every day is a page. Every day that you wake up is a page turned, or it's like a new side quest turned, you know what I mean? Or like maybe we should say each day is like a main quest and there's side quests throughout it, right? Side quest, go make dinner for 500 XP. Thanks, Todd Howard. And every day that you go on, you're gaining more experience. Now the term experience, at first you think, oh, it's just XP, you do special stuff and then you level up, but it's actually quite relative to life, because think about it, the more you go throughout life, the wiser you get and the more experience you get. So you're literally leveling up every single day that you just make it through another day. And again, that doesn't mean that every single day is going to be great. Some days are going to be worse than others, man. Some days you're just going to wake up and be like, all right, today's the day that I feel like shit. It is what it is. And you got to find your coping mechanisms, because that's the next step. It's the first step is acknowledging that you feel terrible. The next step is being ready and open and actually taking steps towards getting better. And then the next step is just learning how to cope with things when things aren't so good. So again, for me, that might be popping in VeggieTales on my PS2 and just escaping to my childhood joy. Or maybe for you, it's playing chess or checkers, or maybe it's playing the guitar, or maybe for you, it's, I don't know, skateboarding or watching your favorite YouTubers or streamers. Whatever it is, whatever helps you cope, do it. Because as I said before, no matter what's going on right now, you've gotten through so much in the past, and just like those things, you will get through this. There is only one of you, and the fact that there is only one of you in this world, and there will only ever be one of you in this world, that's what makes you so damn unique and beautiful, and I'm proud of you, and I love you. just for you being you. So if today knocked you down, if today you're not feeling the best, that's alright. Today it doesn't have to be the best. It's just how it is. I know therapists and all these other people might try to lie to you and be like, hey, no, we're on the road to recovery, you're gonna feel great soon. No. Even the happiest of people feel like shit sometimes, even me. The guy that's always smiling in his thumbnails and smiling on videos and laughing even when I'm dying inside. I do that because I love all of you, and I don't ever want anybody else to know just how bad I'm hurting, because sure, I could sit here talking about, oh, I'm in all this pain, I'm hurting so bad, I'm heartbroken, this, that, and the other, but really, at the end of the day, there's a few things that heal me, and that's video games, anime, music, and most importantly, helping other people. And the amount of DMs and messages I've gotten before saying that, you know, my videos entertain them, or help them laugh, or pick them up when they're down, or whatever, that's my healing factor. That's what makes going on all the more worth it for me. So I feel like that's another important thing too, you know, you don't want to walk through life too aimlessly. I mean, it's not like you need to be actively working towards something every single day, but always have a goal in mind. Just remind yourself that there's so many reasons to keep going, because there always is. Because damn it, if I would have done something that I couldn't have taken back the other day, and I wouldn't have been here to see Black Ops 7, I'd have brought myself back from the dead just to beat myself to death again for being such a fucking idiot. But anyway, I feel like that's probably a good spot to wrap things up. So again, if you're ever feeling down, just feel free to come back to this video. If you know somebody else that's feeling down, feel free to send this to them, or, you know, maybe I don't know, if you ever just need the reminder of, like, how damn awesome you are, and, you know, how worth it is for you to continue to going on, and just how beautiful and loved you are, then, you know, this video will always be here. And most importantly, I will always be here. Unlike a lot of creators, my DMs on all my social medias are always open. I'm not always the most active, but they're always open. I have a Discord server. You're free to join and talk in literally as much as you want, whenever you want. You know, some days I have trouble with being active, but I still pop in as much as I can just because I love all of you, and that's why I created those outlets in the first place, and I'm always very active in my comments, so I'm always here for all of you. Always. Always remember, it is just a bad day. It is not a bad life. But anyways, always a massive shout out to all the patrons and channel members that get all of you in the low ball tier, and an even bigger shout out to all the big ball tier, Asking, and Big Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out to all the G tier run events and cheese girl. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Konnichiwa, Dodaki, arigatou gozaimasu. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all more than you'll ever know. Peace.